15 Grossest Fear Factor Challenges. Part 1.
If you are brand new to our channel, we invite you to take a moment to subscribe. Just click on the lit red button as well as the gray bell. Why the bell? Well, it will let you know every time we post a new video.
1. Drink donkey semen and urine. We all know just how low reality TV and game shows can be sometimes, but most TV networks at least know when not to cross certain lines. NBC knew that even a show as crazy as Fear Factor had limits that shouldn't be crossed, but perhaps they realized that when it was too late. During the show's newly rebooted 6th season, the show's crew filmed an episode titled Hee Haw, where one notorious stunt challenged its contestants to consume horse urine and horse semen. It's hard not to watch the footage and gag as badly as some of the contestants did. NBC's parent company, Comcast, must have felt the same as the company demanded NBC not to air the episode on television. Instead, NBC aired a rerun of a previous Fear Factor episode opposed to Hee Haw. Canceling this episode from the airwaves was undoubtedly a catalyst for NBC's decision to cancel the show entirely for a second time. 2. Milk the goat. For this challenge, contestants had to suck milk from a goat's udder, spit the milk into a glass until the glass was full, and then drink the milk along with their regurgitated saliva. Most people don't like gulping and swallowing their spit, or even backwashing behind a drink. This has to be a nightmare for some people to even imagine, yet alone do. To be honest, compared to what we've already covered on this list, and most Fear Factor episodes in general, this may be one of the show's more tame challenges. Yet, there's still a sense of unease that comes with watching it. Not to mention, for all of NBC's no animals were harmed in the making of this production warnings they showed during episodes, this does look like some bizarre form of bestiality. With that in mind, it leaves us wondering how this made it past the censors. Unfortunately, our final entry wasn't so lucky. 3. Eat Horse Rectum. Over the last couple years, it has become a popular phrase and hobby, if you can call it that, to eat the booty like groceries. This phrase probably wouldn't have the same mainstream appeal if it strictly referred to the booty of a horse. If you asked the 2 final contestants who competed in the final challenge of the 13th episode of Season 3, they'd probably proclaim that horse booty isn't exactly what it's cracked up to be. The challenge asked these contestants to eat 13 inches of a horse rectum before their time ran out. Only one of the contestants were able to finish their meal and walk away with $50,000 because of it. The sad part is that their opponent gave up eating their rectum once they reached 12 inches. If they were able to hang in there to eat an extra inch at a time faster than their opponent, she might have been the grand prize winner. 4. A bull feast. With Thanksgiving coming right around the corner, it's about time to think about what we should serve to our guests or anticipate what our loved ones plan to cook for us on that special holiday. Hopefully, whatever we eat on that holiday isn't nearly as bad as what these contestants had to endure for this challenge. If anyone thinks their loved one is a bad cook, be grateful that they never had to serve a bull's spinal cord, bull's snout, or a bull's spleen onto your plate. That doesn't sound like the type of 3-course meal to get any of us into the holiday spirit, but it did manage to gross out the contestants as well as the millions watching at home. While one contestant, in particular, did find a way to finish her plate clean, as if it truly was a Thanksgiving plate, she did almost throw up in her mouth afterward. 5. Fear Factor Sushi. Apparently, the Fear Factor pizza was such a hit dish with critics, audiences, and those who ate the dish alike, that 2 seasons later, the cooks behind the show had to try their hand at making sushi. Of course, those who ran Fear Factor can't just make sushi. They had to add their own special, distorted ingredients to dishes most sushi lovers are familiar with. Contestants were given surprise dishes, and no matter what was on the plate that the cook gave them, they had to finish it or risk being eliminated in one of the earlier rounds. Some dishes included maggots inside of a sushi roll and rotten squid guts. Of course, there was a special side dish of rice mixed with maggots as an added ingredient. All in all, any sushi lovers watching this episode would likely be put off enough to be turned off from ever eating sushi again, or at least take a hiatus from this traditional Japanese cuisine. 6. Bobbing in cow's blood. The objective of the game was for contestants to bob their heads down into a big tank filled with cow blood until they retrieve a ring. The contestants with the most rings would advance to the next round, while those with the least amount of rings were eliminated. Not only does the thought of willingly and literally diving headfirst into a 50-gallon pool of cow blood and grabbing a ring sound a little unsanitary, but it actually sounds like something that would be found in a horror movie. In fact, watching each of these contestants emerge from the pits of blood made them all equally look like an extra out of the Carrie film based off of the Stephen King novel. It all made them look like a creature from the deepest depths of our nightmares. If nothing else, the images of these people dripping in blood gave us all nightmares after the episode's originally airing. 7. Fear Factor Wedding Cake. Boy, the guys behind this show really knew how to spoil a wedding. This special episode brought on newlywed couples competing for the grand prize. Fear Factor decided to celebrate these newlyweds' new beginnings the only way they knew how, by completely butchering food with gross-out gags and ingredients. On the outside, it looked like a regular, average wedding cake. Yet, on the inside, that cake's sugary goodness was replaced by worms, beetles, and alligator eyeballs. Every member of each couple had to chow down on the cake using only their mouths, and then spit what they ate into a glass cup before swallowing it all back down. If this challenge taught us anything, it is that we probably should not get anybody who worked on this show to help serve for any of our weddings. We might find something creepy and crawling underneath our cake if we do. 8. Bug Body Bag. This next entry may be less gross and more downright scary depending on how some people view it, but most likely it will be viewed as a mixture of both. However, the stunt made for such uncomfortable viewing that it deserves a place on this list. Each of the contestants were chained, zipped up in a bag, and locked in complete darkness inside of a morgue drawer. The contestants weren't alone in the darkness, though, as each body bag was filled with several different bugs. The variety included maggots, red worms, super worms, stink beetles, and hissing cockroaches. From there, the contestants had to find a hidden key inside of their bag and break themselves out of the door. This sounds more like something more suited for a grotesque horror movie than a game show challenge with real lives at stake. The dense, claustrophobic setting made this nerve-wracking in itself. Adding crawling, possibly biting, bugs to the equation and this became a true horror show.